Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new, please make sure you subscribe and like, comment and share the vids. Of course, as always, I've got a really exciting guest with me all the way from Canada. So welcome 247 Boxing Highlights. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm all good. Really excited to have him on the show. He has his own Instagram page as well. Really good highlights from current boxing and also historic little clips as well. Really good to check out his page. So we're going to go through really exciting topic. So I'm sure, of course, you would have seen because I know that we've discussed this a little bit. So Teofimo his incredible victory against Lomachenko at 135 for all the belts, undisputed fight, and at 23 years of age, really basically exploded on the scene with that unanimous decision against Lomachenko. What did you make of that victory? Were you really impressed? Were you surprised? Or did you think, this could have happened? Because for me personally, I thought if Lopez was going to win, it was going to be using his power and potentially getting a knockout, just catching him with one or two really big punches. But in the end, obviously, he outboxed Lomachenko. Were you surprised?
Well, here's a little fun fact. 5 years ago, I actually fought Lopez in the amateurs.
Oh, wow.
So, it was Canada versus US. I actually fought him in the amateurs. And hands down, he was the number one fighter I've ever fought. Wow. So I had that little inside. So as I saw him flourish in the pros, I saw that he was knocking everyone out in the pros. But I remember when I fought him in the amateurs, well, he was 18. I was like 20 or 21. Okay. And he was like around 18. So when we were fighting, he didn't have any punching power. But when he went to the pros, he suddenly got punching power. I'm assuming it's because the gloves are smaller and he hits very precisely. But I wouldn't call him a power puncher. He's more of a counter puncher boxer. And that I knew. I knew that from the beginning. So I'm not a gambling man, but my buddies gamble. So I told my buddy to bet on Lopez by knockout, but he won by decision. So whenever anyone would ask me about my predictions, I would tell them, look, I feel like Lomachenko is getting old, and Lopez, he's on the come up. I would tell people that my brain tells me that Lomachenko would win. My gut tells me that Lopez would win. So I wasn't surprised at all that Lopez won. I'm very happy for him. He's doing very well. And this opens a new, how do I say this?
Passing of the torch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's like a new beginning in the sport of boxing, and he'll probably like pave the way for boxers to not like kind of pussy out against each other. You know what I mean? He'll probably be that because like as soon as he got that IBF belt, he decided not to fight his mandatory, but to unify against the number one pound for pound. So exactly. So that's no joke. He got a couple mil in that fight, but for example, he gave this example too. But like for example, Gervonta Davis beat up a washed up Yuri Kiskambo. So and what's his name? Danny Garcia is fighting for
Ryan
for an
Garcia
interim belt.
Campbell. Yeah,
but he's fighting for an interim belt, right? So same thing with Haney. Haney fought for an interim belt, then they rose him up to a world. So all these things are really like sketchy and not good for boxing. Yeah. But Lopez is kind of doing something different, kind of doing like that old school thing where the best fight the best.
Yeah. No, 100%. And actually, that's a really interesting fact that you said that obviously you fought Teofimo Lopez in the amateurs. So that's great. Yeah. So you're obviously in a great position to talk about it. And it's so interesting that you said that you don't really see him as like a power puncher, but you see him more as a counter puncher, like really kind of more intuitive and less, kind of just one punch power. Because most people, I think, like myself, from what we've seen in the pros, as you've said, he's been knocking people out. So that's what you just assume that's what he's like. But obviously against Lomachenko, he showed that you're right, that actually, he has that ability. So that was incredible. Before we kind of move on, because I want to talk about the landscape of the lightweight division, which you've kind of touched upon, What do you think about Lomachenko? So you said he's getting a bit older.
Yeah.
So do you just think that, okay, you know what? We knew he was undersized. Do you just think it was one step too far potentially? And do you think this is going to tarnish his legacy? What do you think's next for him?
No, it's not going to tarnish his legacy at all. But it's going to be like that time when Floyd beat De La Hoya. That's what it's going to be like in the history books, you know. So when Floyd was about to fight De La Hoya, he was the underdog. He was actually the B side, and after beating De La Hoya, he became the A side and the boxing cash cow, the pay-per-view pound for pound, the pay-per-view cash cow, right? So I think that Lomachenko should go back to 130 and should stay at 130, maybe even go to 126 because he looked tiny against Lopez on Saturday night. Like they looked like two completely different weight classes in the ring, right? So I think that Lomachenko should go back to 130 and his legacy will live on. He could probably get another belt at 130 or 126, depending on how much he wants to cut.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think his ego is going to tell him, you know what, let's hit the rematch. Well, let's try and push for it. I don't think Lopez is going to give him the rematch from what obviously has happened in the aftermath. But I think Lomachenko's ego, just because obviously we know how good he is as a fighter, he will want to fight him again, but I just don't think he's going to get that. And I agree with you. I think he just needs to move down now and clean up in that 130 and 126 division if he can before retiring. I think he's already said in interviews that, you know, I think he's tired of the sport and he's already looking forward to kind of fishing and just relaxing. And I think it's just because he had those hundreds and hundreds of amateur fights that obviously has been so well documented. You know, I think it was 365 fights, 364 wins and one loss. And that one loss...
396 to 1.
396, yeah, which is ridiculous. 396 to 1. Yeah. Even more impressive. Yeah. And that one loss he avenged like multiple times. So I just think, you know, obviously in the pros, that first loss against Salido is just one of those things, you know, he was a bit green, even though he'd had those amateur fights. The pro game's different, and he tried to challenge in the second fight. In his third fight, he did then manage to win it. And again, as you said, I think they did look two weight classes different. Actually, sorry, before we move on, because so Lomachenko has shoulder surgery. Now, I'm not one to make excuses for fighters, but do you think that potentially was the reason why he didn't throw for the first 6-7 rounds? And that could have been a big factor.
Yeah, I noticed that in round 1, he didn't throw anything at all, not even a jab, right? So when they said that he had when they said that he had an issue with his right shoulder, I thought, that's probably the reason why he didn't throw, because he's super well conditioned. But even if he started throwing earlier, I'm not sure if he would have won, you know, because Lopez has the reach, he has the size, he has the timing, he could box. He was hitting him to the body, and I feel that Lopez was just too big for Lomachenko. That's what I think. So even if Lomachenko was at 100%, I think he would have still lost.
No, that's fair enough. I tend to agree with you on that. I think Lopez would have, as Lomachenko started throwing more, I think Lopez would have been more proactive, and I think it probably still would have been a close fight. But again, I just think Lopez probably just has the upper hand in terms of just that weight class, I just think, and he's showing that obviously he's on the up. So much for coming on as well. It's been great talking to you. And guys, as I said, if you haven't, please check out 247 Boxing Highlights on Instagram. It's a great page, and for all the great clips, highlights, news, etc. Check it out. And I mean, it was a great discussion, and I learned something new, that, you know, we've got a resident kind of ex-amateur fighter from Canada in my midst at the moment, which I'm feeling pretty privileged, to be honest, who's fought Teofimo Lopez, which is pretty incredible, to be honest with you. So thank you so much for coming on. It's been great having you on, and thanks very much. Perfect. Guys. Stay safe, and as I said, please make sure you subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated, and have a great day. Thank you.